You people. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm opening the floor to you. If you have any questions you want to ask the panel regarding the conversation that we just had, I am here for you.
Can I stand? Okay. Sanbonani. Actually, I have one question and two statements. My name is Ududuzile Mpuma Mirolands. I own a clothing brand, Fluent Native. I actually started my clothing brand during COVID. It's an idea that I've always had for a very long time, but I never had the courage to actually start it. Yay! Ngiyabonga. And one of the statements that I wanted to say was that I agree with you guys that we are comfortable, we are not hungry enough, we always come up with excuses as to why we're not doing certain things. Mina ilogo yami yokuqala for my clothing brand ngayenza ngale 350 le yaka hulumeni ye unemployment fund. So you don't have to have imali eningi to start. You know, there are plenty of things you can do. You know, I know some of the things that we do to start, you might look at them as if they are degrading because when you fundile or, you know, you've got a reputation. And you know what, when you start hustling and when you actually start a business, ne weave ulahlela pants, makeup bigger pants, you actually have to do the dirty work in order to start. My other statement was that I disagree with the MC when she was talking about the Me Too business. Okay, if you have that attitude, you would see someone else is doing something, you will never do anything because impahla ihlezi ikhona, isinkwa sihlezi sikhona, ibank ihlala ikhona. I mean, Capitec started not so long ago. Whoever started Capitec could have said, I know, I mean, FNB khona already, ne ABSA, you know, unless you're going to go to the moon, there's not much you can do. If uzoti, you know, I'm not going to start something because someone else is doing it. You are the difference. Nike corner, Adidas corner, Puma corner. You know, there's room for everyone to grow. We can all do in the same room. We can all do the same thing, and we can all succeed. So my question to the panel is, my problem that I've been facing is that I don't understand what is the difference between a business plan and a business profile, and how the two work towards getting funding and and upscaling your business as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you 100%. Ngavumelana nawe, and I think ngizosho ukuthi nginikeza a question yakho kubani, but a Me Too business is in Nike corner, yes, but what did Adidas do better again ukuthi prefer Nike than Adidas? Right? Yes, a Me Too business is doing the exact same thing. But if you can see, okay, laba bathengisa ama jacket, but if ngathengisa ama jacket anama feather, right? It's not a Me Too business. You've innovated, right? That business and you've made it better. You cannot sell the same jacket next door. That's a Me Too business, and chances are it won't work. That's what I meant. But thank you for that, and that is clarity. So umbuzo wako enzo tumela ku the People's Fund. Bayabuza ukuthi what is the difference between a business plan and a business profile, and what is which one do you use when you need to apply for funding?
Okay, the business profile is just mainly for information. Yeah, for information piece. Thank you. It's the business plan is a tool that you use to get access to funding, and it's the mechanism that is used by pretty much every institution when they get whether you're funded or not. And they have this the checklist that they have to do at scientific level, and it's based on the things that are required in the business plan.
Yeah, So just to add on to what the gentleman has said, a business profile is basically information. So normally when you start a business, you wouldn't necessarily have a business plan. Okay, you would have the business profile because that's where you list with this is what my business does. It's been available for how many years, and I sell. This is who I sell to, and it's just a snapshot. Normally, that is just one page. Now, normally a lot of people tend to when you want to start a business, now you want to go have a business plan. You don't necessarily have to start off with a business plan. When I started my business, I wanted to sell shoes, right? I was not designing shoes. I only started my business, it was a hustle. As we spoke about the whole thing that everyone is a hustler and you have to graduate to being an entrepreneur. That's the difference. When you're a hustler, it's either you're doing something whereby you need extra money to put food on the table, or you need to put food on the table. And you're working for that R1.50, whereby you need to buy a loaf of bread for R1.50. Now, with the business proposal, that's where you're talking about your business, how you're going to make that R1.50, and you're telling people. But now, when you become an entrepreneur, this is when you are thinking now, I want to expand my business. Now you've also found that actually the business that I'm doing can make me money. And now the problem is that you want to expand the business. Maybe you need to buy machinery, maybe you need to buy clothing, maybe you need to buy stock inventory, or maybe you want to open a shop. That's where you need the business plan, because whoever you're going to ask money for, it's like you going as an individual going to a bank. They do a credit score. They want to see, did you earn enough money in order for you to pay the loan that they're about to give you. That is exactly that. That is a business plan, is actually a credit score vetting for your business to see, hey, listen, if I give you 2 million, are you going to be able to make 4 million and give me back my 2 million? You see, so when doing a business plan, once you start getting to that stage, and that's why obviously like your DTIs or your NEFs, they now have these ways for you to be able to validate that and for you to be able to expand your business. So hopefully we kind of answered that part of your business, of your question, sorry. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. I hope uphendulegile lapho. Next question.
Sanibonani, igama lami nguPalisa waNkambule. I'm the Deputy President of Soweto Business Forum. Okokuqala nje, abantu abalapha ku panel ngicela nibashayeleni izandla. For the first time kuma events kuza abantu abakhuluma iqiniso. Ubhuti ukhulume ipoint and ngifuna ukuyisukuma la ngigqizelele. South Africans and thina siphuma e-township, especially eSoweto, we are lazy. And asivumeni, why is ngithi si lazy? All foreign nations mabafika in the country baflada eSoweto because Soweto has all the resources. Soweto's got liquid cash. Ine cash yonke indawo. La uhamba khona eSoweto kunemali. But akekho nomuntu oyi-one ofuna ukuyibona lonto leyo. We are so comfortable ngama forum wabo khokho bethu, akusese nabo gogo, abo khokho, ama great grandparents. Mina, I am the 5th generation yase Soweto. So if mina ngiyi-5th, wena umncane kimi kusho ukuthi uyi-6th or 7th generation. We are not ready. We are very comfortable. Uqinisile. In Nigeria khona manje, in Africa, kuthiwa economy yayo yiyo the highest. Basebenza kuphi labo bantu? They don't even have infrastructure fana nathi. Ukusuka i-distance esuka la iya eDurban, thina sihamba nge-flight nge-30 minutes, siyayi-drive nge-4 hours. Bona they go for 4 days. But they are working. Akekho umuntu ongasebenzi laphayana. And ukusebenza kwabo yonke into bayayithengisa. First time when ngifike eNigeria, into engaqala ngayibona estradini, bekuthengiswa imali. Ukutshintsha imali. Njengabo mama bathengisa amatamati. Bathengisa imali bona. So ayikho into abangayithengisi. So bengijabule kakhulu ukuthi we've got youth nabantu abakhuluma iqiniso ukuthi siqale lana. She said she's 18 or 19 years. Uphase i-matric. But uqale somewhere. And congratulations. Usazo inde indlela yokuba is an entrepreneur. I started working. I-Southgate iqala ukusebenza because ngangifuna ekhaya bangithengelisa ikhavela kuyi250 bathi abayi-afford. Ngahamba ngayofuna umsebenzi eSouthgate. Ngathi I can even clean the toilet so that I get it. But then if kukuthi ngangiyithole yonke into, I was not going to be where I am today. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you so much. I'm going to move on to the next question. Siyabonga mama amazwi amahle. Ngicela nimshayele izandla.
Sanibonani. Igama lami ngoHonzi lePansola la Jam. I'm a young entrepreneur. I'm a manufacturer. Manufacturer jam, I plant my vegetables from the start, then I manufacture jam, which is in 4 flavors: pear, peach, yellow melon, netamati. Those flavors are not found with my retailers. I'll be the first one to supply my retailers. Allow my flavors now with jam. What I would like to share now from information Leopoti share about my business plan. Guys, information is free. NYTA. One more NYTA. There's before uzotoli funding. Bayakufaka for a training in business management. They teach you how to do a business plan, and they share information. Where can you go again with your totally funding? I'm a government institution maning las naturally funding con. NEF, now into EDTI, as well as Innovation Hub, your money, there's a lot. So, nami ngajabula ukuthi like as sisasebancane kanje sichange like anyeke like yabona khona no eParliament kunabantu abadala basiplanele future yethu thina whereby kumele ukuthi kube nabantu abayanga eParliament ngoba yithi esaziyo ukuthi kusasa sifunani. So asambeni sofunani leyo information. Thank you.
Ngiyabonga kulokho mina ngiyathanda ukuthi mawuthi asambeni siyofuna leyo information because yoke ipoint bengifuna ukuyigcizelela throughout the morning ukuthi hayi ukuthi ngithi information ayikho ngisho ukuthi is it accessible to ingane ehlelekazi, is it accessible to mina nje engifunayo where I grew up, where I've never seen a computer ever in my life. The only person that has a phone in my family is my grandmother. But thank you for that. Zohamba Seifuna information as the youth of 2021.
Sanbonani, igama lami uThandeka wakamThimunye, and I'm from Successful Magazine. But I just wanted to defend or stand for the people who are called lazy. I'm from a rural area. I'm from KwaNdebele. Eskolweni, you just learn your ABCs or the syllabus, whatever is just prepared for you by the education system. But I believe that information, like he said, what sparks desire and interest is information. So if maybe my teacher is not talking about a business, or if we don't have a subject on entrepreneurship from maybe grade 9 or whatever grade, we won't, when you get to tertiary or whatever, you get your peers, some people are very well informed, you don't, when you get to tertiary, sometimes you don't, when you, from the rural areas, you don't even know, you're just there maybe to be a doctor, you don't know that you can work for a magazine. A magazine needs an editor, a photographer, you don't have that kind of information. But also I wanted to ask Mr. Molefe the difference between a capital and funding, and if a funding can be called a capital. Just want clarity on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ceci. Woo, I love you. I know this is a debate that is open to the floor. Remember, we are all entitled to our own opinions. And okay, abazi ngono bathi indlela ibuzwa okwaba phambili. Tina, we are still going, so the pambilis will catch us here at the back. We are born. So, but I think you raised a very, very important point. And mina oh, you caught me when I was speaking, and I'm very grateful that you're here as a testimony of that. Now, I mean, I'm in the education and training system, ne? And now I didn't pick this industry because I love money. Yes, I love money, but I didn't pick it because I love money, right? I picked it because I saw a need for knowledge in the previously disadvantaged communities, right? It's not that me, my educational journey, you will laugh because it's funny, but it's not really funny, because I'm trying to tell you that yes, you might say abantu ba lazy, but with lack of knowledge, I always teach those children in the green that if you know better, you do better. And the mawuthi abantu ba lazy, will come back to that. Angifuni si attend manje. Laba abangekho lazy, bona bayenzani, siboniseni bona. Because I know a lot of hard workers la ekasi, but they are still doing the same thing each and every day to put food on the table. But kungenjalo ke, ngicela ukuthi si attend le question yokuthi what is the difference between capital and funding?
Hey, English level says mangas. I think we know answer.
Should I? Yeah. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I want to understand the context of your question when you say between capital or funding. So funding is when you are looking for money to put into your business to grow it. So there's money that you're looking from someone. So you would say, I'm looking for funding from DTI, ngoba I want to grow my business so I can buy a stock inventory for whatever. Capital is very broad. Capital could be income that's already available in the business. So my capital can say, okay, my business has got 60,000 in it. And capital can be also an overall of the assets that the business owns, so the machinery. So let's just say the gentleman who does farming has, machinery to do farming that's worth 60,000 because he paid 60,000 for it, and then the business has 60,000 in cash in the bank account, and then you are looking for, so that is all also considered as capital. It is a monetary term, but then funding is when you're actually looking for money to buy those assets for the business, or you need money to operate that business moving forward. For me, that's the difference that I would know of that.
Thank you so much, Ngiyabonga. Capital is the money you use to start your business. Funding is the amount of money, it's also money, that you use when you've established a prototype of your business and you use it to fuel your business. Thank you, sis. You may now ask your question. You can't get funding if you don't have a prototype, because how do you actually know that your idea works? Remember, the world is not changed by ideas. It's changed by ideas implemented. I'm on a roll.
Dumelang bagaetsho. Now, I'm not from Ekasi, Soweto. I'm from Rustenburg. But I have lived in Joburg for quite a while, about 10 years, and I would visit Soweto once in a while. So I'm on the point of the gentleman was saying about people being lazy. As a spectator from outside Soweto, that's something I've always said, Hore. You know, the people in Soweto, they have so much. They have everything, basically. I'm from a village in Rustenburg, so some of the things that the people in Soweto had, it was new to us. But the people here were so doing nothing. Some of them, they like you were saying, they haven't even been to town. I've met quite a couple that have never been to town, and I was like, how? So, and another point that I I wanted to talk on that lady king. No. The speaker, yeah, the MC, when she was saying it's basically about what you know. What did you say? You took the words out of my mouth, actually. If you know better, you will do better. I fully agree with her. Because growing up with I'm from the Bantu education. So in our education system, we were told how to cut a locust in half and whatnot. Which are the things that, for now, I feel they were not really that important. So can we challenge, I'm asking the panel there and the lady here, can we maybe challenge our education system to try and start our kids from the bottom about entrepreneurship, about learning how to start a business? Because those are things that we didn't learn. And another one that I need, when we are going to the education system, can we also, especially in the Kasi schools, also challenge our teachers or our system to have a sort of like, I don't know how to say it, but re kgone ho nna mo staging and actually talk to the people and get our message across, because that's something that I feel also as black people we are short of. So yeah, that's it. Oh, sorry, by the way, I'm Katlego Lebele. This is my store, KLS Lasers, Cat's Lifestyle. I trade as Cat's Lifestyle, so I do laser cutting products, but my main product is the lamps, if you can see, decorative lamps and wine stands. So you can come through.
Thank you so much for your statement that you have put out.
Thank you so much. I think because of time, I'll allow two people to go if you can just catch their questions. But it's an interesting debate, and I think we get fired up. I can see hands are shooting up faster than I had imagined, because Bashi zinto esifuna ukuzikhuluma. But I'll allow you to go this one before it slips your mind before we move to another question.
Yeah, so thank you so much for your statement. To a certain point, it does resonate with all of us. Yes, the education system can only go but so far, okay? Yes, we do need to change the mindset of what the education system needs to be, that we need to teach our kids to be employers instead of employees. That's number one. But you can still teach people, but then at the end, it's like, do they have the mindset or the spirit of doing that? When I started, I only have a matric, and I did not know anything about starting a business. But because I used resources such as going on Google, what is a business? You know, why is it that, why are we not using Abu Facebook, or why are we not using like now YouTube? Instead of you YouTubing what was happening on Isibaya yesterday, or catching up on the next gossip with who divorced who, who's married to who, why aren't you Googling how to start a fashion brand, how to start farming a thing? That's how I started my business. I was the one like looking like, how do I start a footwear brand? Right now, as me, Umatapele, the business that I'm running, I want to go into the manufacturing of footwear. I don't know how to manufacture shoes, but every day, every morning, I make sure I read books on manufacturing. I watch YouTube videos on manufacturing. I ask universities for students who are studying footwear manufacturing. I ask them questions, but then yet again, I'm that same woman tomorrow who's going to have a factory because I went to DTI and I had a proposal. But then they were like, how Umatapele is a matric, but now she owns 100 100 million rand footwear factory is because I took the initiative to look for the information. And if we get that right, that's how you're going to have entrepreneurs.
Do take the initiative to actually, don't waste your data. Use it on the things that build you. Right.
Okay, my name is Ernest Motlabeng, and then Ernest ufuna uqala business. So my question is, and then this is a very important question, give me, because I've seen a lot of black business the struggle. Ngayo le point learning is this. How important is it to have a legal structure for business? You know, I think this goes hand in hand with the quality of being honest and having strong moral principle as a business owner. So I've seen a lot of, especially black business owners, you know what, we are struggling with, the point you know what, Ernest manje uqale business and customers imniki imali, and then at the end of the day I'm running around, and I don't deliver on time. I give empty promise at the end of the day, and then I've seen abantu abaningi, you know what, especially thina abantu abamnyama will be say, you know what, I prefer to go to a white-owned business than a black-owned business, because at the end of the day, I've you know what, struggling kuthola izinto on time. You know what, it's service. There's no service at all. So as manje nami ndifuna uqala business, I want to know how important is it ukuqala ukuba ne business, legal business structures that will protect me and my customers at the same time.
Thank you. You may go ahead.
Ernest, thank you for the question. That was very, very important. Most of the times when people start their businesses, we spoke about being hustlers, that you are a hustler and then you need to graduate to being an entrepreneur. So now you have come to a point where you are graduating into being an entrepreneur. It's very important to try establish a legal structure for your business. Reason being is that most of the time when we start businesses, you think when you make 150, that 150 is your profit. We don't have a structure whereby it's like, your profit is 50 cents. And 1 rand is what you need to put back into the business in order to expand it or to grow it. When I started my business, I was running it from my own bank account. You know, I had my Capitec bank account. I would sell a shoe, the money would come into my bank account, but then now I go swipe at Pick and Pay, and the money is finished. Now, when I then graduated to say, listen, I want to run a professional business, you need to have like a legal name for your business. Once you get your business registered, you need to have a business bank account. When I started my business, I went through to Netbank. Netbank had a facility, I'm not sure if they still have it, you can go check. They had a facility whereby they actually register your business for you, your business name. They get a tax number for your business, and they even open a business account. And what that means is that when you now start making business, you can separate between your personal finances of buying a grocer every month, and also from the money that comes into your business, and that needs to also rotate within your business to grow. So that meaning that money now you need to find a way to pay yourself your own salary. It's not like it's the money that you use to buy everything for yourself. Now, it's basics like that you need to kind of start learning, and it's quite sad that we don't have platforms that help us to understand the difference between a legal structure for your business and between you running your own business from your own bank account. And those are the structures that you need to try read up on, but then as the MC had mentioned, that unfortunately, some people don't have the opportunity to read up on those. And for me, it is very important to have a legal structure. Even if it means just having a bank account, don't worry about VAT numbers at the beginning when you're starting your number. That you will graduate slowly as your business grows.
Ngiyabonga.
Sanmalan? Igama nguThembi Wakandlovu, founder of All Rounder. I'm known as the Queen of Umqombothi. I'm doing Umqombothi ne. Mina, what I want to say ukuthi Tina siyasaba. Sinovalo okwenzeni izinto. Akusuku lazy. I won't say ubu lazy. Mina ngibona ngathi abantu banovalo ukuthi if ngizoyenza into so, bazothini. We understand. Mina mase kufika ukuthi kumele ngivove ngihlanganise ngiyayenza yonke into ukuthi abantu bathola umqombothi wabo nginama master class umqombothi but mase ngicedile ngiyayithatha leyo mali leyo ngikwazi ukuphilisa umndeni wami. So kuya nangokuthi ibackground yakho obuya kuyo injani, uphuma kuphi and wena ufuna ukuya kuphi, because everything imotivate a situation ebengiphuma kuyo mina endlini ukuthi i-breadwinner bokubhudi and it happens ukuthi ushone ngingakabi right elifeni ngisafunda isikolo and life yabanzima because umama bephuza engekho there for mina. So mina I believe ukuthi wena as an individual yini into ekuphushayo, yini ugqozo lwakho liphakathi kuwe elikuphushayo ukuthi ube ilento ofuna ukuba yiyo, because bengithi mangihlele ekhaya ngibuke TV ngithi nami ngiyafisa ukuphuma eTV one day, we understand, nami ngiyafisa ukuphuma ephepheni one day, and because iphila la ekhanda lami lento le iyayenzeka. The minute uqala uyifaka uyi-implementa, eventually the universe respond ukuthi wena ufuna into eso and into eso uzoyithola. For the fact ukuthi uyakwazi ukuhlala phansi uthathe Facebook uhlala i-hour ku Facebook, 2 hours ku Facebook, you like uyakhomenta ey'ntweni ezi-bad lezi ezingakufuni, concentrate kulento ekufunayo le ezokuthatha ikuyenze umuntu ofuna ukuba uye kusasa. Follow abantu abazokumotivate, ungafollow noma ubani. We understand. So nami njengoba ngihleli la ngibone nina, I'm like, okay, sengimbonile wenza into so ngizomfollowa because khona into engiyifundile namhlanje, hayi ukuthi khona into engayifundanga. Okay, my question ukuthi ufile nini ku SARS, because na 2 years i-business registered but angikaze ngafile. So I don't know ukuthi kufilwa nini mase kunjani, because even if u-applyela for i-funding bazokutsho ukuthi kumele uyenze i-turnover ye-50,000 before bakufunda. So I'm like, oh, ngiyofika nini ku-50,000? We understand ukuthi uzothola leyo funding. So I'm a question number 2.
I'm not sure I understood the questions, but I'm going to try and cover what I understand from this. One, I know that in Gauteng Enterprise Propeller funds from as much as 10,000. So get in touch with them. It's always best to start with government agencies, funding agencies, because that's the cheapest form of funding that you'll find. It's below market rates as opposed to going to a financial institution. When it comes to refining visas, on the first day of our register CABC, every level of my returns, and therefore our SARS just like every it includes a resultant micro enterprise certificate as of United Clearance. And you have to get that certificate from SARS every year. So one of the ways that get in touch with them, if I first check on my annual returns of CABC, that is to the quarter, killing, which we follow, that's what it's that. Once you sort out CABC, SARS is next. And yeah, when we're going to, because even, I'm not going to be it, but
Yeah,
All right.
so to just add on to what he said, obviously with CIPC, a lot of people don't know, and the amount like for for CIPC, it's not even a lot. It's normally like 200 or something annually, like 150. It's not a lot. It's not something. So people also, it's like we don't share that information because oh my God, I have to pay tax and stuff. They think in CIPC, oh my God, it's thousands. Normally that amount is about 200 that you have to pay, or 200. That'll depend how much it is, and that is also CIPC uses that to make sure that people's businesses are still running. Because some people register businesses, but it's not functional. So they also now, if you're not filing your taxes, then they start deregistering business that they don't have redundant amount of businesses that are just sitting there and no one is using it. So that you file about 100 Rand or 200, they'll send you the amount. It's very easy. You take your bank card, you pay it off. And then when it comes to SARS, that is also dependent on, remember when you start your business, yes, you have to file your taxes, but doesn't mean that you have to pay something to SARS, because I think there's also like a threshold. Like I think if your business makes a certain amount of money, like 60,000, they check like annually, and you can go to SARS on their website. You can even go to the offices and ask for that list of threshold where you can see, which my business made 10,000. Okay, that means I'm not going to be liable for tax, or my business has made more than 100,000 annually, then I need to pay tax. And then obviously they'll tell you once you file your taxes. And filing taxes, I always say that there's many people that can assist you with Facebook. And I always say Facebook is a very great tool where I use for my business, whereby on my status, instead of writing random things, normally on my Facebook, when people come to my Facebook page, I'll ask like little things like, who is a bookkeeper? Okay, you go for a bookkeeper, that's someone that's taking care of finances. Sometimes you're starting a business, but you're more of the creative. You like the drawing or you like the farming part, the finance part, you're not familiar with it and you want to learn. There's people that are educated, and my most important advice I can give to people, and this is from my own experience, is that yes, I had a matric, but then does it mean that now running a business, do I have to be an accountant? Do I have to be the HR manager? Do I have to know all those? You can't know everything else, but you need to learn to, interact with other people that are well educated, that have the skills sets. Like, if possible, go to a varsity. I call a lot of varsities and I'm like, hey, you know what? Do you guys have any students that are studying accounting or to be bookkeepers? I would like to interview them. And those are the people that you use to actually try to get that education that information that you would need. Like a bookkeeper would be able, or accountant would be able to help you with anything to do with SaaS or banking. And maybe they can also, what you can do is you can do a trade exchange to say, okay, can you please come, I can manage to pay you 200 Rand, maybe per hour, and then can you come and help me with taxes? And that also helps them to start learning the skill better on practice for them, in order for whenever they want to be an accountant later on when they graduate.
All right, thank you so much. I think there's a lot of follow-up questions. This conversation gets interesting, I think, because you get to interact in a panel. But I think I'm going to ask one question to the panel and the audience and the people that have stalled here today. Before sitata, break amanzi, yabos puza amanzi. I think we've been sitting for too long before we continue with the conversation, and of course the second panel and the second session of our conversation. And to remember that there's an amazing competition at the end of the event, whereby if you have a business or a business idea, konintobati elevator pitch, you will be allowed to pitch your business and win yourself amazing prizes. Ngizorivila ama prizes after the water break. Ogamanje, I have one question for anyone in the audience. If you have made your first 100,000, yes, I remember. Sorry. If you have made your first 100,000, right? To some of us, how did you make it? Right? Ngifuna ukuthi skip my notebook. Ukuze sibhale so that we can take this into account. I'll start. I think I've been making, the first time I made my 100,000 was August, is in September, right? 2007. And how I made it is I focused on my marketing strategy. Now, I deal a lot with people. Like I said, I'm in the education and training sector. And because I'm young, I know Gutivelity now, young people say delelwa in the industry. I researched my craft and I mastered it. And I have confidence because so I researched my marketing strategy. And I understood that in the education industry, if I sell something.
So, how I made my first 100,000 is so my business again is digitally based, meaning that we do not have a shop. I do not have any people walking in my store to come and buy. All of my customers are from online. And how we made our first 100,000 is focusing on also our marketing strategy, but digitally. Now, with that being said, is that my products, we sell them on a website. Okay, we have a website, we have our products there. People can go and shop there. They swipe with their card. We deliver to the product, to the consumer once they've purchased. But now, the question is, how do we get the client to that store? Because no one knows that store. And when you do that, is that you have to basically have a marketing strategy on social media. So you need to attract that client off your social media. You have to choose the platform where your client is going to come from. Now, because we sell a physical product, meaning that the person has to see the shoe and then they need to fall in love with the shoe, the platform that we used was Instagram. Instagram is a platform whereby people can actually see your product, they can envision themselves in the product, and then they can think about it. We linked our website to the Instagram platform, and obviously with my help from my social media manager. We then decided to take our product, and then we decided to put a sale on it. So basically, where we're trying, just like how you see someone buying, something where there's a sale in a shoe store, we actually did that same sale, but put it on a digital platform where someone can come and actually see to say, okay, wow, if I buy something, I can save a certain amount of money. But now, in order to also attract people onto your social media, you need to spend money to make money. Meaning that we had to actually do paid adverts on social media to have those adverts that actually, when someone clicks on the advert redirects them to our social media page, which then redirects them to where? The website. Okay, and that's how you actually need to. A lot of people want to sell products, but they never want to invest in the marketing or the advertising. That meaning that you don't want to put money into it. And in order to make money, you have to spend the type of money in order to get the consumer to trust you. And also, customer service goes a long way also on social media. Having referrals from your client. If your client has purchased your product and you've treated them well, you've given them a product that is reliable, they can use, and you're meeting the requirements of what you're offering as a service, you need to get your clients to write reviews, and those reviews need to go onto your social media platform, because people buy only from something that is either trusted from someone else or they've experienced it themselves, and then they're like, okay, and me with my side, I've worked in retail. The toughest thing about retail is actually not keeping a client. It's actually your first client. Once you have made your first client buy at you, there will be a return client. Most of your money or your revenue or money that you make from a business, it normally comes from return clients, because those return clients, they buy 5 more products. And then with them buying 5 more products, they refer 5 more people from their circles to come and buy from you. For example, we had a client who bought 1 pair of shoes, right? And then she came back weeks later, she bought a second pair of shoes because we had great service, she liked the product. And then she referred a friend of hers who lives in KZN, who ended up buying 13 pairs of shoes in 1 transaction. So you see how that actually works, is that getting that first client is the problem, but once you've given them the great service, they then become a great provider. But then again, you have to advertise your client. You need to spend money on your advertising in order to get money back.
And I think Razor, say marketing, number 1, customer satisfaction, number 2. There needs to be evidence that they received your product or your service well. Ngicela nimshayele izandla, uyenzile 100,000 yakhe, how? All right, so I just picked